Well, hey, welcome to Let's Sit With This. I'm Kristen Calloway, a licensed therapist, and this is a place where we talk about hard things in a way that actually makes sense. More like chatting around a campfire than sitting in a therapist's office. Here, we talk about getting through hard moments, healing old hurt, and growing into someone that you're proud of. So pull up a chair, get comfy, and let's sit with this together. Well, hey, friends. Today's episode is a tender one. So for this month's Therapist Bookshelf, we're reading How to Keep House While Drowning, which technically is about cleaning and organizing. But underneath that, it's really about what happens when you're overwhelmed and shut down. And I want to talk about the side of depression that brings a lot of shame, the kind where life just stops. So let's pause here for just a moment so I can give you a gentle warning. And so you can decide if this episode will feel helpful for you or overwhelming. We're going to be talking about severe depression and the common symptoms and struggles that people can have. And as you're listening, if the pain feels deeper, if you're having thoughts of harming yourself, ending your life, or harming someone else, please pause this episode and call or text 988. That's the National Crisis Line. You can also call 911 or go to your nearest emergency room. I want you to stay alive, and I want you to have the chance to feel hope again. I also want to remind you to not diagnose yourself, okay? So if you are hearing things in this episode that feel close to what you have gone through or are going through, please reach out to a medical professional, a counselor. Please get into therapy and talk to someone so that they can make an accurate diagnosis based on what you're going through. Please do not diagnose yourself based on a podcast that is giving more generic criteria to meet the needs of a lot of people, okay? This is a side of depression that is fairly common, but it brings an immense amount of shame to the people experiencing it. I've sat with a lot of people in this place, and the weight of that shame is physically visible. Now, depressive episodes and symptoms can vary among people. For some, life on the outside doesn't change much. You keep up with the tasks and responsibilities around you, but you feel numb inside. You're more checked out, more irritable. There's very little joy or happiness. Now, you can be seriously suffering, but still look fine from the outside. But today, I want to talk about the depressive symptoms where life around you stops. When life and responsibilities become so overwhelming that you shut down, withdraw, and stop engaging. When you stop showering. It's more common than people think that the tasks like personal hygiene and cleaning and organizing, things called activities of daily living, stop happening when you experience severe depression. Let's look at this from a polyvagal perspective. So if you haven't listened to my episode on polyvagal theory and nervous system responses, make sure you listen to it at some point. It's pretty helpful, but I'll give a quick recap here. Polyvagal theory is based on the vagus nerve, a cranial nerve, which is essentially the connection between your brain's threat detection system and your nervous system response. Now, we have 3 nervous system states. We have the ventral vagal state, which is our state of safety and engagement. This is, we can consider the green zone. You feel good here. You can enjoy time alone and with others. This is the state we like to be in. We have the sympathetic state, the activation of fight, flight, or fawn. This is the yellow zone. You're on alert. You're amped up with cortisol and adrenaline pumping. You've detected a real or perceived threat to your physical or emotional safety, and you're ready to confront it, escape it, or appease it. Then we have the dorsal vagal state, the most primitive response. This is the freeze or shutdown, sometimes called the red or the blue zone. This is when you can't reduce the threat, so your body shuts down. You may feel hopeless. You may disassociate, you check out. Remember, these responses happen based on a real or perceived threat to your physical or emotional safety. Now, you don't really get to judge whether your response was dramatic because your nervous system reacts before you can consciously decide anything. Think of depressive episodes like being in a prolonged freeze state. You're shut down. And even the most common tasks that you didn't think about before suddenly feel big, overwhelming, even impossible. So how do prolonged freeze states or depressive episodes happen? Sometimes it's from encountering a threat, maybe in a relationship, maybe from difficult or traumatic life events. Sometimes it's from reaching burnout after chronic anxiety and overfunctioning have just been going nonstop. It's actually common in therapy when I have someone who has complex trauma, they start and they build trust and safety with me. Their nervous system realizes that it doesn't have to stay hypervigilant anymore, and a depressive episode comes on. Happens more often than you think. It can also happen when you leave an abusive or toxic environment. And here's what makes it confusing. Your life circumstances may technically improve, but your nervous system finally collapses. Everything that was repressed for so long starts coming up. And unfortunately, depression doesn't check your schedule or your expectations before it shows up. These episodes can be really shocking for you and for the people around you. You may go from being the happy person with inside jokes and sarcastic comments to someone who feels emotionally flat, numb, tearful, irritable. You may go from someone who kept up with responsibilities to someone who can't seem to get up from the couch or the bed. Maybe you were always down to meet up for coffee or a drink, and now you stopped coming. Maybe you stop responding to texts for days. You might start sleeping more or staying up late. Your eating habits may change. You might lose weight without trying or gain weight without understanding why. You stop showering, stop brushing your teeth, wear the same clothes for days. Maybe you just snack or eat whatever is easiest. Nothing tastes good, or you only crave comfort food. It's a drastic change over time, and it can feel like there's an invisible wall between you and the world. What complicates all of this is how shame reinforces the cycle. You feel ashamed of your hygiene, ashamed of your living space, ashamed of the molding food at the bottom of your sink, or how much trash is precariously piled on top of the trash can. Maybe you're ashamed you've ghosted your friends and terrified to find out if you have any left. Maybe your partner is frustrated and their attempts to help feel futile. And now you're scared that there may not be a relationship waiting for you when you come back up for air. So the shame encourages avoidance, which brings more shame, which adds to the hopelessness, which adds to the avoidance, and on it goes. If this has been you, or if this is you right now, I want you to hear me. You are not a bad person. You are not gross. You are not disgusting. You are not a failure. You are struggling. You are a good person who deserves good things. Coming back from this may feel like swimming to the surface from the bottom of the ocean with lots of things in the way. But we can do it together. And here's the part that I care about most. How do you get your head back above water? You do it with small, tiny steps, one focus at a time. I'm going to give you a handful of suggestions in the order that I've found to be most helpful for clients. You can do multiple in a day. You can add one per week. You can change the order. You can disregard some of my suggestions, pick different ones. I don't care how you do it, just that you do it. We're not aiming for perfect here, okay? We're aiming for slightly better than where you're at right now. And I want you to remember that these steps I'm going to suggest are the exact same ones I've given over and over again to multiple people in the same place as you. You're not alone in this struggle. So let's start with personal hygiene. Have you not showered in a week? Order some baby wipes or grab a washcloth. Wipe down the 2 P's, the pits and the privates. Keep the wipes wherever you're sleeping and work on cleaning up once or twice a day. Eventually, turn on the shower and just stand under the water. That's it. Add soap when it feels possible. Wash your hair when it feels possible. Keep a toothbrush by your bed or the couch or wherever you're sleeping. At a minimum, just scrub your teeth so that they stop feeling grimy. Work up to toothpaste or swish mouthwash. Just small steps. Next, sanitation. Throw away the moldy food. Throw away plates, utensils, or containers that are too far gone. Everything else, throw it in the dishwasher. Don't even rinse it unless there's huge chunks of food. No dishwasher? Wash them in your tub or shower. We're reducing effort here. And once you get things clean, if it feels overwhelming to keep up that pattern of cleaning, buy disposable plates and utensils for now. We can worry about sustainability later. Grab a trash bag, focus on one room, throw away all the trash. Or make piles near the doorway so the next time you pass by it with a bag, it's easier. If you've been surviving in the dark, open the curtains. Let your brain see the difference between day and night. Light helps your circadian rhythm, which helps you sleep. Natural light boosts your mood. When it feels possible, step outside for a minute, your backyard. Sit in the sun. Let's talk about laundry. If you have clean clothes available, change into something fresh. Find a new pillowcase. Bring a new blanket into your room. Now decide if you want to wash one load at a time or wash it all and separate things into clean and dirty piles. Don't worry about folding and hanging up and putting away laundry if it's overwhelming. The dryer can be your dresser. The basket can be your dresser. And just work on changing your clothes daily. Move rooms. If you've been on the couch all day, move to the bedroom at night. If you've been in bed all day, sit on the couch for a bit. Go sit at the table, in a different chair, on your porch. Change of scenery helps your brain quite a bit. Let's talk about food. So pick one meal to be consistent with and make it easy. If cereal in a bowl feels like too much, just eat handfuls from the box and take a swig of milk. It's the same thing. You don't have to make a sandwich. You can eat the bread, eat the meat, and eat the cheese separately. You are feeding your body, and that's the goal. So we are going to focus on one small area at a time. And you're going to build consistency there before you add more. Right now, you need small wins. You need evidence in your emotional library that says, I can do it, instead of the shame and self-deprecation. Let's talk about that shame. I'm not going to tell you to look in the mirror and say positive affirmations. For most people, that feels fake and cringy. And if it helps you, by all means, do it. But if it doesn't, that's okay. Try this instead. Shift from cruel to neutral. Now, how do we know if something's cruel? Would you say those statements to someone that you love? Would you say those things to your best friend, your partner, your kid, your therapist? If you wouldn't say it to them, then you probably shouldn't say it to yourself. You can make more neutral statements like, I've been having a hard time and I'm taking steps to change it. Things got out of hand and I'm focusing on them now. I lost myself, but I'm finding my way back. I'm doing what I can. Maybe even, I'm a good person who has been struggling. Because it's true. You've been fighting a battle in your head every second of every day, and that is exhausting. It is not a moral failing on your part. You are not a bad person because you have been struggling. Have you been intentionally inflicting harm on other people with complete disregard for their feelings? Probably not. So if the dishes have way piled up, the laundry has way piled up, if you've not been taking care of yourself, that's not a moral failing. You're having a hard time. Now, this may feel like a huge journey back up to the surface. That's okay. You aren't too far gone. Nobody is ever too far gone. I've been doing counseling for a long time with a lot of clients, and not once have I said, "Oh, you're a lost cause." And I really don't believe that. If somebody wants to change, it is possible. Now, it might be a long journey with a lot of steps, but if you want to change, there is a way. You can reach back out to your friends. You can apologize. You can clean the mess. We all fall. We all have hard moments. We hide them from others as best we can, but we have a front row seat to our own lives. We see our worst moments and compare them to other people's curated ones. And if you still feel like you're the only worthless loser who goes through this, think about it this way. I'm not spending hours writing, recording, and editing an episode that only applies to one person. It's not a good use of my time. I spend my time writing about the things and talking about the things that happen to a lot of people and that people don't talk about outside of the therapy room, okay? It was very easy for me to come up with this list of suggestions because I've given it so many times. You are not alone. You are not defined by this. And you don't have to stay here. Thank you for sitting with this today. I am so proud of you for listening and for facing any shame that came up. If this episode helped, please rate it, comment, share, subscribe. It makes a bigger difference than you realize. And you can leave me a comment or send me an email if you have ideas for episodes you'd like to hear. I make this for you. And stay tuned for my February book review coming soon. As always, be kind to yourself. And I'll save your seat for next time. Bye now.